Hello there. This is where the fun begins.
What's going on, guys? Unofficial Star Wars here. Hope you're all doing well, and in this video we are going to be discussing the return of John Boyega in Star Wars. Let's hop right on into it. John Boyega may be rumored to return in Star Wars in the 2025 Rey movie. This movie was recently just announced and confirmed at Star Wars Celebration to be taking place 15 years after the events of The Rise of Skywalker that would focus on Rey Skywalker building up a brand new Jedi Order. And so somewhere in that announcement, a lot of Star Wars fans are hoping for the return of John Boyega as Finn and for him to get his proper Jedi training. After so many multiple teases off and on within the sequel trilogy ever since The Force Awakens in 2015, The Rise of Skywalker in 2019 had finally officially confirmed that Finn was indeed Force sensitive all along. And so it makes me especially really want to see John Boyega make a comeback in Star Wars and to really fulfill and see that overall story and that narrative go forward, and to see him really become that true Jedi Master that he truly should have been ever since The Force Awakens. And so now a new rumor has pointed towards John Boyega reprising his Star Wars role as Finn in a future project. So for many fans, this news comes as a little bit of a surprise, especially since the actor John Boyega has been open critically of how Lucasfilm handled his character in the recent years and throughout the sequel trilogy. However, new buzz suggests that Daisy Ridley isn't the only Star Wars sequel trilogy star Lucasfilm wants for its future film. And so recently on the Hot Mic podcast, John Rocha, the host, revealed that a couple of different sources claim that John Boyega will be coming back for Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy's 2025 Star Wars film that will also have the return of Daisy Ridley, as I had mentioned, and be taking place 15 years after the events of The Rise of Skywalker. So this does mean that John Boyega's reformed stormtrooper will be sharing the screen once more with Daisy Ridley's Rey, according to these rumors. Well, but it is in this film that Rey is building a new Jedi Order 15 years after the events of The Rise of Skywalker. And so as for why John Boyega is now open to returning, two of Roach's trusted sources on this podcast had explained that the actor and Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy had reportedly buried the hatchet, allowing for new negotiations and making a clear opening to want to have John Boyega to come back, to making him want to come back for Star Wars, giving him a proper character, a proper story for his character is really what John Boyega at the heart really does want for him to really come back, as he has previously stated in so many multiple different interviews previously before. So whether this conversation is what the actor had referred back in 2022 last year or more recent of a conversation is really up in the air and unknown though. But really just the idea that John Boyega and Kathleen Kennedy had came together, had a conversation, buried the hatchet about what they did with Finn and his character in the sequel trilogy and how they kind of ruined him and kind of sidelined him at that, really upset the actor overall, and it upset a lot of Star Wars fans as well. And so John Boyega has previously before mentioned in many interviews saying that if he was to return to Star Wars, they would have to be very concrete with having a good story, a good plan, and giving his character something proper actually. And so now seeing that John Boyega would accordingly be, well, now open to returning to Star Wars, that's just probably what we got served. And that if and when he does return as Finn in the Star Wars franchise, that he'll finally have a character that is properly written and a proper narrative and everything like that, and won't just be sidelined. And so Lucasfilm's interest in wanting to bring back John Boyega back on board makes a lot of sense. And so despite how the sequel films had relegated Finn's story, he remained a fan favorite amongst the fans and is considered one of the trilogy's biggest missed opportunities, and all of Star Wars even at that. His role in Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy's potentially 2025 film would be a way for Star Wars to make things right for the character and for John Boyega as an actor. He's such a talented actor, especially if you've seen any of his other movies and projects. And so plus, as I had also mentioned earlier on in this video, is also the fact that Finn is Force sensitive, finally being confirmed and actually pointed towards by the end of The Rise of Skywalker, after having so many different points and teases at that throughout the sequel trilogy. Finally having that as an open gateway and as an open door for them to actually work more on that and develop more with that is something very exciting going forward for the character, and kind of how they left the door open to having all of these characters return from the sequel trilogy. And so, if that is the case, with Rey now rebuilding the Jedi Order in this movie, Finn is sure to be a part of that, meaning fans will finally be able to see the former Stormtrooper as a fully fledged Jedi, something that had been teased at fans throughout the sequel trilogy, especially with The Force Awakens and its marketing and promoting and its trailers and everything like that, and then how they kind of took that away from us, and then didn't really do anything ever with that, making Finn a Jedi actually, and giving him that full story, and to finally see that actually happen with this potential 2025 movie. I say potential because we don't know that it will exactly be coming out in 2025, but it is being heavily rumored for that release date. I'll have another video discussing a little bit more on that, so stay tuned for that by hitting the subscribe button if you haven't already. Now, anyway, as aside for that, with Boyega, he can return to the franchise knowing that he brought attention to Lucasfilm's missteps throughout those interviews and discussions, and how Lucasfilm had messed up his character, and it kind of angered him and a lot of the Star Wars fans, while he also is getting a second chance to further explore his overall character. And as I had also mentioned, he's really such a talented and phenomenal actor as well, so to see him really go full-fledged and really get the spotlight in this movie, I think would be amazing. It truly is a win for everyone involved, really. The question now, if this rumor is true, is when Lucasfilm will make it official, and whether Star Wars is calling Poe Dameron's Oscar Isaac too to return for this movie. I think that he definitely is deserving, and it would be awesome to see some type of cameo at that from Oscar Isaac's Poe Dameron in this movie as well, bringing back all of the sequel trilogy actors. Now, as I had also mentioned earlier on in this video, this is simply just a rumor. Take it with a grain of salt. All in all, from this guy on this podcast, it really just sounds like I heard this from a guy who heard this from a guy type of thing, and it's been passed down along the line, simply as a rumor. However, I will say though that we do have other sources reporting on this, like The Direct. I'll have their article linked in the description down below, and also MakingStarWars.com, who has reportedly gotten a lot of different things, a lot of different rumors and leaks right previously before in Star Wars, especially recently with The Mandalorian Season 3. They were the ones to report that IG-12, a mech suit for Grogu, would be a thing made out of the old parts from IG-11, Moff Gideon having this Mandalorian Beskar armor. And even the Praetorian Red Guards appearing in The Mandalorian Season 3 as well. All of those things came to be true as simple rumors from Making Star Wars. And so if they have anything of a track record, I think that they definitely could be quite reputable, especially for this overall rumor here for John Boyega and his return in Star Wars, which is something that I'm more than a big fan of. I'd also like to quickly touch on a 2025 release for this overall movie, as I had earlier on mentioned here, is that I would like this movie to kind of wait a little bit longer. I think it would be nice if they did wait like maybe 15 years in real time, or if they shortened that time in a solid 5 to 10 years rather instead. And so to really make that time jump in the movie make more sense in real time as well, I think would be kind of nice. We've seen it previously before all the time in recent years. Just like how we had the original trilogy ending in around the mid-80s, we had the Star Wars characters kind of come back 30 years later in the real time for Luke Skywalker and Leia and Han Solo and all those original trilogy actors and characters. And so to see that same thing kind of come forward here with these characters as well, I think would make a lot of sense and fit the overall narrative a lot better. Anyway, I want to discuss that in a separate future video here on the channel, so hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and that notification bell to be notified for when that video is coming out. We're also discussing and talking about all types of Star Wars related news, leaks, rumors, theories, and breakdowns here on the channel, so if you guys are into any of that, join us here on the channel today by hitting that subscribe button. Guys, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Thanks so much for watching today's video. Let me know of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. I would love to hear what you guys all think. Of course, this has been Unofficial Star Wars. May the Force be with you as always. Peace out.